Welcome into Against the Suits, the gambling arm of the Hard Count over here on the On3 YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. In for J.D. Pickell, a one Jerry Neuheisel, interim offensive coordinator for UCLA. You know why? Because J.D. Pickell's picks sucked last week. 2-4. And I get the guy's 31-23 on the year, but don't worry, Jerry's here to make sure we're dialed in for this Week 10 slate of the college football season when it comes to our picks. As always, presented by BetMGM. 5 picks. Plus an at-your-own risk at the end of this thing. Fade or follow. Let's waste no more time. Let's get right to it. Ohio State versus Penn State. Looking at that spread. Favoring the Buckeyes 20.5, according to BetMGM right now. Penn State, are you going to score at all? I don't know. If you do score, are you going to score like 3? Is it 7? Maybe it's 10. So if it's 10 points, is Ohio State going to be held to less than 30? I don't think so. I think Ohio State rolls. I think 20.5 is far too little. I'll take that all the way up to 22.5 to be real with y'all. So Ohio State minus 20.5 at home, blackout conditions, Halloween weekend in Columbus. I think Ohio State just absolutely puts Penn State out to pasture. Also, remember this, Jim Knowles, previously the defensive coordinator for Ohio State a year ago. He's now at Penn State. I think a degree of this could be personal for the folks in Columbus. I don't think they'll take their foot off the gas. They're up in the fourth quarter against that Jim Knowles defense. Just food for thought, but Ohio State minus 20.5. Go ahead and lock that one in. They've been a cash cow when it comes to covering the spread. I don't think they're stopping on Halloween weekend of all weekends here. Now, next pick up for you. Miami at SMU. 12.5 point spread, favoring the Hurricanes. Here's my thing with this. I wouldn't have had this game on my card this weekend. I don't know a ton about what SMU is going to look like here coming off of a loss. I like Kevin Jennings and the off structure things he can do and the mobility. But here's my logic. Inside baseball here. We have a board in the On3 studio that has game picks every week for the entire video team, and then we have a spread pick at the end. For whatever reason, your boy's been cash money against the spread when it comes to the spread pick for the On3 video team. This is the spread pick this week on the board. I wouldn't have picked it, but that's what the board says. I like Miami minus 12.5. I'm trusting my gut. I'm trusting the progress we've made so far to this point in the year when it comes to picking against the spread. Of the 9 games this year, we've picked against the spread. Your boy's 8-1. So either you want to fade that and say, at this point the luck's going to run out, or you say, okay, we'll go ahead and trust you, JD. We'll go ahead and take your word for it that you're hot against the spread on the On3 video board pick. So Miami minus 12.5. I'll take the physicality of Miami. I'll take Carson Beck getting back right. I'll take SMU kind of limping off of that loss against Wake Forest. Miami covers the 12.5 in Highland Park, if you want to be specific to where they're playing this game in Dallas, and Miami covers that number against SMU. Go ahead and lock that one up. So if you're waiting for the gross picks that we have typically on this show, now's the time. When I say gross, I'm talking like situational game totals, first quarter unders, first half unders, all that. I like the first half over in Oklahoma at Tennessee. Points, baby. John Mateer and co. haven't looked great so far since the hand surgery and all that. It's not a knock on Dr. Shin, not even a knock on John Mateer, just kind of the way things have broken for him to this point in the year. However, that Tennessee defense, good up front for the most part. They've had some showings that haven't looked as good up front, but on the back end, we got problems, Tennessee. Giving up 281.5. Now, I think Tennessee ultimately wins this football game, but not without giving up a few points. If they lock it up, it'll be more so in the second half. I think that number of 27.5 for the first half for both these teams, far too low. Give me the over. Joey Aguilar's slinging the pill around the yard. Oklahoma, good defense, but the way that they align, the way they bring pressure, leaves yourself exposed to some big plays. Saw it last week against Ole Miss. We'll see it again this week in the first half. First half over 27.5 in that game of Oklahoma at Tennessee. Go ahead and lock that one in. Another gross one for you here. Plug your nose. Vandy at Texas. JD, game total? Nope. Half total? First quarter total. 9.5 is what we're looking at here for Vandy and Texas. I think that's too high. I'll take the under there. I think that we got 2 good defenses. We got a team in Vanderbilt who likes to take some air out of the football. As of right now, I don't know if Arch Manning is going to play in this game or not. So if it's Matthew Caldwell, we'll see what happens. But a backup quarterback against that aggressive defense, I don't love the way that would shape up for him. Then also Arch Manning, quite frankly, I don't have a ton of confidence that we're going to be able to carry over what we had at the end of the game against Mississippi State in this spot against Vanderbilt. So do we see a touchdown and a field goal in the first quarter of this game? I'm going to go ahead and say no. Maybe a touchdown. Hold the rope when that happens. Don't cash out too early. We will go ahead and take the first quarter under of 9.5 in Vandy at Texas. Last one on deck here for you before we get your own risk pick. That is the first half total for Purdue at Michigan. Now, I think Michigan's going to roll in this game, all right? But that first half total is 26.5. Michigan, they're more of a wear-on-you team. They're not really the most explosive when it comes to quick strike offense and things of that nature. I don't know if Purdue's going to score in the first half, to keep it a buck with y'all, against that Michigan defense. But Michigan against Michigan State won that game handily, scored 10 points in the first half. Sam Duell with the Washington game won that game handily, scored 7 points in the first half. So if I'm assuming Purdue's not going to do too much on the scoring side of things against Michigan, and Michigan's more of a slow burn offensively, 26.5 in the first half as a game total, far too high. We'll take the under there and feel great doing it. Now, the at-your-own risk pick. Again, we're trusting the gut here. A dangerous thing to do, but we're doing it. World's largest outdoor cocktail party, Florida, Georgia. That game total is at 50.5. I'll take the over there. As of right now, checking the weather out there in Jacksonville, no chance of precipitation. So good track for scoring points, that is. Listen, Georgia, they're a slow starting football team. That secondary is very, very gettable. And you take that logic and you compare it to what Florida has on the offensive side of the football. Dallas Wilson, stud. DJ Lagway, when it comes to his ability to push the football downfield, it's there. Have we seen it consistently? No, but if you're going to see it in the spot, wouldn't it be in a rivalry game where he popped in the first half against this Georgia team a year ago, in a spot now where the head coach just got fired? JD, you like the coach got fired? I don't like anybody getting fired, first of all. Second of all, for Florida, I wonder a little bit if that pressure bubble bursts in this game. Last couple of months, really, going back to last year, you're talking about, is Billy Napier going to keep his job? Can Florida win and keep Billy's job this week? That bubble is no longer there when it comes to the pressure around Florida. At this point, you can just exhale, cut it loose, let it rip against a Georgia defense that, again, is pretty gettable on the back end. I think that Florida scores. I think Georgia's going to score. I think Georgia wins the football game, but 50.5 to me feels a tick low. We'll go ahead and take the over there in the game total for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, again, sitting at 50.5. So let's recap it here. Ohio State versus the spread, we'll take it. Miami versus the spread, we'll take it. First half over Oklahoma, Tennessee. First quarter under in Vandy, Texas. In first half under in Purdue at Michigan at 26.5. Then we'll take the game total over for Florida versus Georgia. Now, it's Halloween weekend. Again, I told you, J.D. Pickell couldn't make it this week. I'm on my bye week here as Jerry Neuheisel, as the interim OC for UCLA. I'm in for J.D., in for Cato on the ones and twos and keeping us correct here on our fades and our follows for this Week 10 slate. It's not Cato. It's Jason. Jason, man, glad to have you on the show. Been trying to get you a part of this thing for a very, very long time. Glad we finally got to get you on the ones and twos as well as onto the microphone. Happy holidays, Jason.
Thanks, man. This is kind of my day, my weekend. Really excited about it. Things got spooky for you last week, so hopefully we'll change some of the luck here.
I can't do this the whole time, but
no, you look good, man. Golly, Jason, glad to
run back the bit from the live show, but yeah, not a great week. We'll bounce back here, Jerry. I think your offensive expertise will show in this slate. But to start off, man, I'm staying away from that Penn State Ohio State one. I want to put some BetMGM dollars on Penn State covering that, but to me, it's just too good to be true with the Ohio State. And I think the Jim Knowles of it all actually scares me. I think Jim Knowles is actually uniquely equipped to make a game plan that could potentially slow down this Ohio State offense. And I think for Penn State, I think this is their Super Bowl this year. I think they look at the rest of their schedule and the games they have to play and the situation they're in right now. And if there was one game to empty the tank, it would be this one. And I think they have enough talent still on their roster to keep this one within 20 points. So that's a stay away for me. I might even lean a little bit Penn State. And then after that, JD, we'll see who wins on our board here. But I'm fading Miami in the last just home stretch of the season. They're going to have to show me that they can play like a little bit more of a mature football team compared to the last two games we saw, obviously against Louisville, the game against Stanford that is slow first half. And SMU is not bad. They have 3 losses. They kept all of those games close, all of them within 12.5. So I think they will do this. They're the home team in this one. It's an early kick. I think SMU keeps this one close. I could see Miami pulling away similar to the way they did against Stanford, maybe not as drastic, but the first half coverage for SMU really speaks to me in that one too.
Interesting.
The rest of these picks, though, JD, I feel a lot better about. Oklahoma versus Tennessee, that first half over at 27.5. I'll follow that in a heartbeat. This is going to be a big points game. Tennessee still very quietly has the second worst scoring offense in the SEC, they're giving up 30 a game. I can't think of a better get-right spot for this Oklahoma offense than to put up some points against this Tennessee defense. And the Vols are going to do their part on the first half. I'm not worried. Or the points in general, first half, second half, I think it'll be a shootout. I think we'll get some early fireworks. The Texas Vanderbilt one is interesting. I was very cautious on this one because 9.5 just isn't a lot of points. And you don't really have to squint to see any two teams getting a touchdown and a field goal. JD, though, last 3 games for Vanderbilt, they're 3 SEC games. How many points do you think they've given up in the first quarter of all of those games combined?
3.
Correct. 3 total points Vanderbilt has given up in the first quarter of their last 3 games, all SEC opponents. Then you look at the flip side of Texas, who's played 4 straight games in the SEC. 7 points last week was the first time they've scored in the first quarter in the last 4 weeks. So these are 2 teams that haven't gotten off to very fast offensive starts. Texas, not a very fast offensive start team up until last week, first time scoring in a while in the first quarter. Vanderbilt doing a great job on the flip side, keeping teams out of the end zone, especially with a backup quarterback in there for Texas. I feel good about that one, so I'll follow you there. Purdue and Michigan style, man. You heard me talk about it earlier this week. I don't think they care how they win, and I think they're even playing a little bit of possum when it comes to their ramp up for the Ohio State game. They're trying to keep it vanilla, I think, right now. They're trying to just run the ball, do what they have to do to win. They don't care if they win this game by 3 points, 13 points, 30 points. The first half under, I love it there. I think time will churn off the clock. The only fear would be maybe an early blowout if they come out the gates, but I don't think they're going to really let Purdue do much on offense, and I think they're going to run the ball, and the clock will be our friend there. So I love that pick too. At your own risk, it is risky. But both teams coming off a bye. We've seen a lot of interim head coaches come out with offensive game plans that have given defenses problems right out the gate. Georgia's defense has already had some problems. So I like this spot for Florida to keep the game close, and I think them keeping the game close will have to result in them scoring some points. So Georgia might have to trade some blows with them. So I like the over in points just by a little bit. 25 is a lot for both teams to get to that. One of them might have to get 26 in that scenario, but I like this spot, man. I think in the state of Florida, this team plays inspired. Their defense is good, but I think Gunnar Stockton and that offense has seemingly game after game after game had answers. So I think if Florida can dictate the pace and throw some haymakers early, I'll feel even better about this. But I'll follow you there, man. I think this is the bounce back week for you. I think that last week was a mirage. This is where it gets serious. November is about to start. Can't think of a better way to get this back half of the season, this back quarter of the season going than a perfect week in the books. So best of luck to you, man.
Man, well, 1, I appreciate that. 2, we just put on the costume a little bit early when it came to how we were getting things going on this side of the BetMGM picks and our Against the Suits card every single week.
Tricks over treats, man. We got the tricks out of the way. Now it's time to treat ourselves this weekend to a beautiful slate and some successful bets.
I can't think of a better way to close this out. Treats over tricks. So we said treats over
tricks?
tricks?
The tricks came first. It's trick or treat. We were tricked last week.
Hey, you rock around the block. It's tricky. Not this week. It's all treats for the boys. Cato, Jason, great stuff. Appreciate you as always. Keeping us within the lines when it comes to making our picks on this side of things with BetMGM and the Against the Suits every single weekend. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Fade or follow. As always, rock with BetMGM. They're getting us right all season long and bringing you the hard count, bringing you Against the Suits. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Have a happy and safe Halloween. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all.